Hey crew, it's Ben, and I'm back with a tutorial. Today we're going to be checking out how to make a landscape material in Unreal Engine 5 fairly simply, fairly lightweight, and so that you can move forward rather quickly. This is not the most complicated landscape, but it is a simple one to implement, and as you can see, it has grass, dirt, rock. I kept it very simple, but it is highly customizable even so. Alright, now inside the actual landscape, we are starting from the UV coordinates. Uh, if you just put in texture coordinates, TEX coords, it pops up, you would get this, same thing. From that, all of these in the black are just two variations of the same string of code. Uh, the first variation here, I pulled in my materials from this medieval environment pack in the landscape under textures. Wherever you want to get them from, it is a simple albedo, it is a simple height, and it is a simple normal. You just grab the three that you want, you pull them in, and you arrange them in the order they come in: albedo, height, and normal. From there, we're going to plug in our UV that we had through a multiplication node, and then our first scalar parameter. And if you hit S and click, you can get a scalar parameter. It pops up, you can automatically name it. I have already named this one rock texture scalar. It is because when I move this parameter, my scale on my rocks is going to move. It makes it bigger or smaller. That's what we're doing with this node. It's going to feed all three of these nodes at the same time so that they keep the same scale. We're going to come out of our albedo into a multiply node. The parameter coming off of that is another scalar parameter, and it is going to be our tint. It makes this lighter or darker. I have added a specular node by itself in here. You can set it manually high or low. That makes it shiny and not. I like to be able to adjust that in the game. From the height, we are going to have a multiplication node that the parameter will be our roughness. That also affects how the reflectivity of the material is. So you can make it where it has more reflections and less reflections based off of this parameter. I call mine rock roughness so that I know it is the roughness for the rock. And then the normal is going to multiply. You can make adjustments as to the depth of field inside of what you're doing. That comes in more with people who are doing more detailed than I'm doing. I am not doing a high immersion graphics. I'm doing light immersion graphics. And you can take this, and this is your layer. I have duplicated this up. Each one of these is a parameter so that I can adjust them. If I want to, I can swap a different texture without having to come back into this blueprint. It is a parameter. You want to have one of these set as a parameter, and then the other one is just the duplicated parameter of it. That's to keep these texture samples low. We want to keep them under 16. As it is, I have 3 different textures in here, and we can take and add 2 more textures with the doubles and be well within the limits. But I have duplicated this up. Everything except the parameters. You want to make your parameters fresh so that there's no confusion with your parameters. I duplicated it up and I added into it a custom rotator on the negative side of the scale. So before we actually create the things is the negative side of the scale, and we're going to create a rotation of our UV, which is the actual picture. So this will give us some variation in our texture so that we don't get the tiling and overlap that you would otherwise see, where you would see a bunch of little squares that just overlap in a sequence. Now it will break up a little bit, and you'll be able to control that between 0 and 1. So you can set your rotation angle between 0 and 1. In order to do that, what we're going to do is first set where you are going to rotate from. This is a vector 3 parameter. If you hit 3 and click, you get one of these. I have this one set to 0.5, 0.5, 0.5. That is dead in the middle. X is red, that is in the middle of red. Yellow, which is Y, and blue, which is the Z. That means that it starts in the middle of the map, so that it reads up and down, left and right from the middle. If you adjust that to 0, it reads farther down in the graph, and if you adjust it to 1, it reads farther up in the graph. You can control the tiling further from this variable. And this is a scalar parameter here, the rock angle. I have that set at 0.33 because I like the third, the way it breaks up on the third. You can adjust that from here. It makes it actually change the rotation of the actual thing in use. So once you have this duplicated and you run all of these into where they would make sense, the albedo goes into the base color. Sorry, my dog's making noise. The roughness goes into the roughness and the normal goes into the normal. You're going to mix those with a blend material attributes node right here. You can right click and add blend material. It's right there. Same thing. You will want to make a parameter for the alpha off of this. You're going to put these two into there. One is going to be your base. One is going to be your overlay. Now what this blend material attributes node right here is going to do through this rock alpha blend is going to blend the alpha of the two rocks. If I have this value set to 0, it is reading the value of A at 100%. If I have it set at 1, it is reading the value of B at 100%. If I have it set at 0.5, it blends between the two. That should have set to 0.5, but okay. So it giving me an even blend between the two materials. One of them is turned, and you can independently scale them so that they don't have the same consistency. We'll see that in just a second. From there, we add in a material layer blend standard. You can again right click, just type in material layer blend, choose the standard one. The base material is what is going to be at the bottom. That is going to be your A. The top material, which for me is going to be dirt in this particular instance, is going to be the layer that is overlaid on top of that, and it will be alpha'd just the same way that this was alpha'd. It is alpha'd here, but here we are doing it with a slope mask. The slope mask is going to take the slope of the angle of the landscape and apply the texture to that according to these two scalar parameters. The fall off power is going to be the actual angle where it falls, and the sharpness is going to be how quickly it falls between them. So if you want a really clearly defined line, your sharpness is going to be a 1. If you want a fuzzy line, it will be closer to 0. Now again, this is just a duplicated over for my dirt grass blend, which is exactly the same setup as my rock texture and variation is dirt texture and variation, and I have a grass texture and variation. All of those feed into a break material attributes node. You have to do that so that you can feed it into your material attributes node. But once you have done that, you get something that looks like this. All of these parameters you can change. If we pull it down so that we can actually functionally use it inside of here, and we look at our dirt, let's go with our dirt scalar right here. And we have a dirt patch right there. And if we take this dirt scalar, from a 0.05 and we take it to a 0.5, you can see that the dirt changes. Let's do it on the rock. It's a little easier to see on the rock, right? So we have the rock. Let's not do the angle yet. The rock scalar, if I turn it off, you can see that that overlay, rock 2, the scalar disappears. But if we take it and we adjust it from 0.01 to 0.05, it changes the picture. We're going to put that back to 0.01 because I like the way it looks. But another way that you can check this to see is if you go to your rock alpha blend right here. Remember I told you that if you put in 0, you've got A, there's A. And if you put in 1, you get B, right? And so you can adjust rock 1 or rock 2 and then blend them together inside of your material instance. It's quite customizable. We are on B, so this is rock 2. Now, if we look at our scaler and we move it up and down, well, no, that's the wrong one. All right, so now if we look at, where's rock 1 scaler? There's specular right here. If we move this, yeah, there we go. You can see it adjusting. Now, let's move this back. Where's my alpha? I'm going to move this alpha back over to 0. I'm going to look at this one. Because this one you have the angle, and we can actually show you the angle moving. I have mine set to 0.33. This is a scale from 0 to 1. So you can move in an awful lot of positions from 0 to 1. It takes quite a few decimal places. But that is basically all we really need to cover in order for you to have a functioning auto landscape. When you create the landscape itself, you're going to want to, I should have showed this first, right? Let me get into my materials here. You want to create a landscape material that is simply go into material, right? And then you create a material, you'll name it what you want, landscape. And then you're going to want to right click that and create a material instance of that. You can keep it named exactly the same and then slot that into your landscape right here. I'm not going to change mine out because I like it. But that is all of it. Also, the point of putting the parameters in for each of your things, you can change these out, right? You can come in here and click these on, and you want to use a different texture from the dirt that you have. This is where you do it. You can just come in here, browse to a different ground, and put it in. And then when you come in here, there will be a different ground applied. You can't really tell because it's in the dirt, but it makes a different, it changes the color, it changes the texture, it gives you all kinds of different things to work with. I just wanted to get in here and get a really quick, really clear, this is all you really need to get this done in Unreal. You can get incredibly more complicated than this. You can get deeply detailed specular maps. You can set up custom rotators. You can do all kinds of things to make it look unique to you. You can add sand, you can add snow. I didn't want to get quite that complicated in this one. I didn't feel that it was necessary. Everything I have here is just a duplication down, right? So you have your base, you have the rotator, you have your base, you have the rotator. Just for all three textures, they're added in a simple blend node, they're added in another simple blend node, and then they're added to the actual landscape. Hopefully this brought a little bit of enlightenment, not too much confusion to a not too difficult topic. I did it in kind of the wrong order, but I'm assuming you know at least a little bit about the landscapes and what they are before you get to me. If you have questions, let me know down below. I will do my best to answer them. If there are enough, I'll do another video. To the crew, thanks for hanging out. I appreciate every single minute that you are here with me, and I am praying for you every single day. Until next time, I love you. You're perfect, whole, and complete, just the way that you are. And this has been Pit's Take. Peace.